Hello everybody. Up on the workbench today, we got my trusty Stihl MS-180C. I'm not going to talk about the saw though, I'm going to talk about the chain, and specifically sharpening the chain. Everybody hates sharpening chains. It seems from what I gather, very few people really have a good method of sharpening a chain well. And some people I know will buy a new chain, use it till they'll throw it away and buy a new chain because he hates sharpening chains so much, and that's ridiculous. Now most of this dislike for sharpening has come from using a chainsaw file to sharpen chains, and that really sucks. I hate using files. It's just not a good way to sharpen chains. And there's some other fancy gadgets, little things you clamp on the bar, and then there's a little thing that looks like a chop saw, and you have to take the chain off, and you bring the little cutting wheel down, and it sharpens the tooth at just the right angle. But we don't need any of that. If you're like me, if you're just a casual woodcutter for firewood, you don't need anything fancy or expensive. You're just wasting your money. You can put that money towards something else. The best thing to put your money towards is not just a good tool, but a tool that is multi-purpose. So here it is. This is the perfect tool to sharpen chainsaws with. Is it the best tool? No, probably not. But you know, we're not in competition. We're not, running hot saws or anything. We're not in timber sports. We're not professional loggers. If you are, you shouldn't be watching this video. You already know how to sharpen a chain. You've already figured it out, whatever it may be. This is the best way for a home shop guy to sharpen a chainsaw, because not only does it work really well, but you can use this Dremel for hundreds of other uses around the house and the shop and the farm and whatever else. Anyway, up here we've got I think it's a 5/32 grinding stone. I buy them at Walmart. I can probably get them cheaper on Amazon or something. But that's all there is to it. You need a little bit of handwork. You need some hand-eye coordination. You need to understand what kind of angles are going on in the tooth, and then grind the tooth. It takes about 2 or 3 seconds a tooth, especially if the tooth isn't too dull. And that's it. I mean, yeah, you might not get your angle quite right, but in my opinion, it really doesn't matter. I've had plenty of chains where one angle is too shallow and the other angle is way too steep, and you know what? The chain cuts just fine. We're not looking for super fast cutting or anything. We just want to be able to cut in a straight line reasonably fast so we can get our firewood cut for the winter. So let me zoom in on the chain here and talk a little bit more about angles. Alright, this is just about as close as I can zoom in to the chain as much as my camera will let me. Anyway, and this tooth in question here, there's 2 angles. There's if you look directly from the top, there's an angle back to that main cutting edge, and also there's a much slighter angle downward that way, as if you're looking at the tooth with the edge facing you. That's a very slight angle. I have no idea what that angle is. Back when I was really into chainsaws, I could probably tell you everything you needed to know about cutting angles and chisel and semi-chisel chain and all that stuff, but I've long since forgotten it. And it doesn't affect my chainsaw sharpening whatsoever. You just have to have a decent eye. You look at that edge, especially if it's a fresh chain that's only been dulled once. The edge is in decent shape and angle and everything, so you look at that angle and you copy it. But if you hit a rock or something and the edge is all messed up, most chains have, on the back of the tooth, they have a little laser mark. This chain doesn't, because it's a very small chain. This is really just a homeowner saw with a low profile chains. There isn't much space to put a laser mark there, but on bigger chains there is a laser mark at a certain angle, and that's an angle guide, and you just visually line your Dremel tool up with that line, and you've got the correct angle. And as far as the other head-on angle, it's very slight, and you'll just sort of you'll really just naturally fit into it. You'll feel it, and without that's really all I can say. It's hard to explain it going into too far in depth and with all different angles, measuring stuff and everything. It's just if you have a hand, I feel it. You can't. And if you're, I shouldn't such bad high using a check coordination that you honestly that well, you probably really be using a chainsaw. Tooth just a couple seconds and grinding. Give each tooth maybe a couple seconds of grind. You can even burst and hold up sometimes edge of the chain. See that it's just to be opposite on the very end, and that means just about as sharp. And going to be one last to keep it. The thing to of mind is the grinding rotation of the stone. Grinding stone rotate way. I'm using this my grinder so you can see it. It's this way. Screwdriver. The machine rotates more easily. But what it does is the stone this way pulls the stone so into the kind of whole stone. Now, if the two saw flip the other way, if I had my other way, stone would be rotating, grinding the chain, be this way, all to counterclockwise way. See, and what that does, the stone is you catch on the edge and does lock itself over the edge. And you'll just keep walking off to the cutting edge, and that's good. So pay attention to the directional rotation on your Dremel and grind your chain accordingly. That's all there is to it. I mean, a cheap Harbor Freight Dremel I think is about $15. Or if you want to buy a good Dremel brand, I don't know, probably $50 or $100. But they're a really versatile tool. They're a little underpowered, but I think they're really great to have around. And this is just one more great use for it. So anyway, I hope that helps out you guys. It'll really speed up the speed it takes to sharpen your chain. You'll be amazed. This chainsaw here, it's a 14-inch bar. I can do the chain in probably 3 minutes. It takes more time to walk up from my wood pile to the garage than it does to sharpen the chain. So I hope this helps out some of you guys. As always, please leave a comment or hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. And as always, thanks for watching and come back for more.